With cameras set up in the Underwood scrub, the team stopped by the side of the road to consider the question of why there is no evidence of thylacine ever turning up as roadkill.
Tasmania is a dangerous place if you're near the road. There's so many turns and corners to get around mountains, and because there's so much wildlife here, we have so much roadkill. Probably the most prolific animal we have is the paddy melon, and that's what we see as roadkill the most. Second highest would be the brush-tailed possum or the Bennett's wallaby. Also we see stacks of these. The other animals it's very rare to see. So probably the Tasmanian devils, you see plenty of those around Christmas time, but really not many other times do you see a Tasmanian devil. Occasionally you see a spotted-tailed quoll, but again, very, very rare. And I think I've seen platypus roadkill probably about twice in my life. So the rarer the animal, the more unlikely it is that you're going to see it as roadkill. But the question is, why don't we see thylacines as roadkill? So I have a bit of a theory about that. So roadkill, it's a big question. Why do we not see thylacines as roadkill? I find it's probably really hard to explain away why we can't see thylacines roadkill. There's so much roadkill on the road, and it's one that you have to chalk up to the skeptics. It's a hard one to get around. However, here's a thought for those who really want to believe thylacines are out there. To get around the whole roadkill, if you want to go apologetics on this, here's an idea. Let's have a look at population densities of the large carnivores. When Europeans came to Tasmania, I'm just going to guess there's probably about 50,000 devils in the state. Nick Mooney says there was probably about 2,000 thylacines. These represent thylacines, these crisp chips. Well, I was at the museum, they said up to 4,000, so let's be a little bit generous to thylacines, 4,000. So this sort of represents the difference between Tasmanian devils and say thylacines. If you look at that on a larger scale, when they're all over Australia, they're all sort of suffering the same thing. Australian climate is changing, both species are declining. But the other thing is, both species could be prey to other animals. In prehistoric times, we had things like thylacine, the giant marsupial lion, which would possibly eat devils and even thylacines if given a chance. We had megalania, which was a giant lizard much larger than a Komodo dragon. We know Komodo dragons eat goats, so why wouldn't they eat devils and thylacines? We have scrub pythons. Anything small enough going under a scrub python, they just dive down and grab it. So scrub pythons are being known to take dingoes. And of course we've got crocodiles. So you've got this whole array of large predators taking these animals. So let's just say, look at these devils here, we'll scale it down to an area. In an area the size of Tasmania, say thylacine, take 1,000 devils. Doesn't do much to the actual devil population. Same with megalania or crocs. Again, we just lost 2,000 devils out of this devil population. There's still 48,000 devils left. What happens when you take 2,000 thylacines out of the picture? It's not a good scene, is it? I'm enjoying this. Now, my experience in hand-raising animals, the difference between a Tasmanian devil, where there is plenty, and spotted-tailed quoll. I know the quoll is not a thylacine, but the quoll is a predator, and the difference between the two is the quoll is highly alert. If you've got quolls, they're just looking around all over the place. They are really keyed up, really alert. They also end up as roadkill, but then again they've got very short legs. So my theory is that roadkill it is an artificial predation upon our animals. What we see is wallabies, we see the possums, we see all the animals that devils eat. We see them on the side of the road heaps. And then we see devils occasionally at certain times of the year. We very, very rarely see a spotted-tailed quoll. So to start with, it'd be rare to see a thylacine dead. The other is it so alert because of survival instinct that's just going to get out of the way in time? That's my theory on the thylacine surviving roadkill.
Bill, thylacine road trip, we're travelling around the roads, tracks and trails of Tasmania looking for evidence of thylacine, investigating and researching the history of thylacine. One thing that just strikes me as unusual is if the true believers are correct and thylacine is extant, then why don't we see thylacine roadkill? We see roadkill for pretty much every other native and also invasive species in Tasmania, but no thylacine roadkill.
Well, there's a couple of possible answers there. One is it's extremely rare, and the other thing is that very shy and elusive. But I sort of think about, say, spotted-tailed quoll. I see them very, very occasionally, not very often at all. And the quoll is a very alert animal. Probably all the ones that I've hand raised, it's the one that's looking around and really alert. I imagine thylacine probably would be the same, except it's got longer legs. So maybe it can see trouble coming and just get out of there really quick.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. The other thing that comes to mind is that there have been from time to time, maybe once every 5 to 10 years, a report that a thylacine actually has been hit. Just in this area, North East Tasmania, there's been a report that someone did hit a thylacine.
And bicycle riders there's a spot they couldn't stop at. There's the Elephant Pass, which is really windy like that. It's a dangerous bit of road. But yeah, no body's being produced.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is too is if you hit a thylacine in your vehicle, let's just say that it actually survived the impact of it itself. That's the van, not the thylacine. What would you do? Would you stop and try and render aid to that animal, or would you be worried, particularly if it was killed, that you're going to get in trouble?
Me personally, I'd probably take my car to the car wash, get rid of the evidence, and say, "Hey, I found this dead on the side of the road."
Yeah. But I think the point is...
But I might not be an average person.
Well, you're definitely not average. But I think the point is that, you know, a lot of people, A, would they even know what they hit, but B, if they did think they'd hit a thylacine, they'd think they'd be in quite a deal of strife for hitting this, believed to be extinct animal.
Another interesting thought I just had just then, the size of the animal. With Tasmanian devils, they're often eating things much larger than themselves, and they're stuck on the side of the road, and usually most of the roadkill with devils tends to be young devils, devils that can't drag something off. And quolls, little quolls, if you're a larger animal, you can drag something off the road. So like we don't see as many, say, wedge-tailed eagle roadkill as we do, say, other like owls and smaller birds of prey that have come down for a quick feed. They can't take something off the road, so they stay there, whereas a larger predator might just grab something and just carry it away and eat it in the forest quietly.
So that leads me to, I guess, an interesting discussion that some people would say that the reason we don't see thylacine as roadkill is because they're not by nature scavengers. You know, they like to do their own hunting and killing, so therefore they're going to be less likely to stopping and dining on that wallaby that's been hit by a truck.
Yeah, I don't agree with that for a couple of reasons. One is that in the zoo they were fed dead meat and they readily took the dead meat in the zoo. The other thing is when we sort of say, you know, predator, yes, the majority of their food they catch themselves, but if they're hard up they would go for something. So for example, even a tiger snake will turn scavenger if in desperation it will do that. So yeah, I think only spiders would probably balk at that, but almost any other predator I could think of would certainly go for dead meat if it's there available, free food.
Okay, so if you were to sum up in one sentence, why aren't there thylacine roadkill?
Am I allowed to use commas?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. Quick, alert, long legs, able to drag food off the road, eat quietly.
Oh, I think that's they're all good reasons. I think for me, if the thylacine is still extant, I think it's more likely in those areas where there are very few roads. You know, so places like in parts of Western Tasmania, the Western Explorer, the Road to Nowhere, Savage River National Park, Pyman River area, where there aren't a lot of roads, and what roads there are aren't frequented by vehicles that often. So dawn and dusk, you're going to be able to see and hear a car from a long way away.
And the other thing with roadkill, why we get so much roadkill, is usually in busy areas where the traffic drops off. You've got grass both sides of the road, you've got wallabies coming out, they're eating, and then, about 3 o'clock in the morning, suddenly somebody's driving along and whack, they've got it. And that would then bring in predators. Whereas if you're more remote, that's a lot less likely to happen. And because of the infrequency of the car, more likely a large animal could just grab something and drag it off the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess the mystery is continues, so we should get on with the rest of our road trip.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
The team leave the area and then return early the next morning to see what evidence they may have been able to capture on their trail cameras.
So here we are.
Yeah, just outside of Underwood in this forestry area.
It's a nice fresh one.
Yeah, it's pretty brisk, isn't it? So I think some of the wildlife will be retreating and wait until the sun comes out, that's for sure.
Well, I know those paddy melons are pretty tough.
Yeah, we saw a few scuttle across the trail as we walked in, so hopefully they'll have run in front of our cameras last night.
Well, that's what I was predicting, that we're going to get herbivores eating the apples, racking off, and then hopefully the scent of them will bring in carnivores. So let's check, see what we've got.
Yeah, we're going to have to use the GPS to get back to the location because it's pretty out of the way, so we'll need it to find it, particularly in this low light.
Yeah, ready for a hike.
Let's go. We're just on the track into these cameras. Bill, the master bushman at work, he thinks he can find the location without the GPS. So far, so good, but let's see how he goes. Come on, Bill, let's go. Old school tracking.
Well, it looks like the apples are gone. That means that something has come in here and taken the apples away. We've got our cameras, they seem to be operating, so we're going to find out what that is. I'm guessing either paddy melon or maybe even possum, but hopefully something else would have come in and checked that out as well.
Might have old Stripey on camera, Bill.
Shut up. Don't use that. Got something, it's too tiny to see. It looks like it might be a possum. Really interesting. You can see the light from the other camera go.
Yeah. Bill used his bushcraft skills to find this location. As everybody knows, he's got tracking skills that are second to none. He was able to find this location relatively easily without too much assistance from the GPS. Basically it told us that we were here, so that was good. Just having a look at this now, and it looks like we've got a fair few shots. It says 30 of 30, so I think that'll be good to see what we have. Yeah, we've definitely got got animals on this in multiple instances where the other camera is also lighting the subject area as well. So a fair few shots on this one, Bill, about 25 when we tear down and take down shots. So we'll see what we've got when we're back with the computer, I think.
Yeah. No, it's going to be worth checking this one out.
Yeah, sure. All right.
Okay, I'd say the next camera is about 2 kilometres that way.
About 2 k's. Let's go. Get the GPS back out. Or the human GPS might get us there safely.
I remember that trees. Yeah, 15 times.
11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
10 birds are going.
here they are over here. What do you got there, Bill?
About to find out. Oh, humans. There is an animal. It climbed up here. It's tiny. Brush-tailed possum.
Yeah, I've got a brush-tailed possum here as well.
So Penny's pork crackling also brings in brush-tailed possum.
possums.
Yeah, I've got another little tiny animal
Yeah.
which just put its head here. So I'll be very keen to sort of see what that's like.
Well, it doesn't look prima facie that we've got a thylacine on the camera, which obviously is the main target of our search, but you know, sometimes when you walk through forests like this, it's like there is, you know, some predator out there looking at you through the bush. So anyway, let's get back to the vehicle and go on to our next stop.
A big hike back, you know,
Yeah, it's going to take us a while, but
because it's all uphill.
yeah, oh, well, you pick the site. Just put these cameras away.
Well, it was easy to get to.
Thank goodness for the GPS.
Oh, go on. It's a 50-50.
Old school technology found one group.
Well, I found the cameras that I set up. There we go.
All right, let's go. Which way is it, Master Tracker?
That way.
Yeah, in fact, it's the exact opposite way.
We're just following our tracks backwards.
Yeah.
You can see there's been a couple of bipedal creatures gone past this way.
Get it wrong. Bill.
What's the matter?
I've got the GPS here for when you get it wrong.
Oh, yeah.
It's all right. We're all human. Okay, well there's north that way. So this trail's going that way, so we should come back up into that car park. I guess that's what's telling us.
Okay.
So that sort of makes sense.
Cool.
200 metres.
Speaking of Coal Bailey, and feelings like you're being watched. And you say, this guy's not looking in the eyes before they shoot him. It's when you take it a week, you're sort of relaxed. In some ways, you're more likely to see wildlife. To me, it seems like an interesting story as to, you know, as to detail that you'd probably leave out in the story if you're telling a story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really embarrassing.
All right, Bill, we're back. It's quite a trek back.
It was a bit of a trek back, yes.
In cold weather like this, we've actually got to be quite careful, because if you start sweating too much and then you come to a sudden stop and you don't have the ability to warm yourself up, it could lead to a bad case of hypothermia.
Good, but luckily with my tracking skills I knew where the car was.
Yeah, kind of, yes. Yeah, okay, well let's get out of here, eh?